So I'm doing this a little old school, the way that I kind of used to make videos and stuff. This, I wanted to make at least one more video on the Tronxy XY-2 Pro and cover some of the things that I talked about in the review, but I didn't get a chance to show you guys footage of. So it just got done printing these COVID masks. I printed 2 smalls, and this is a different mask. So I just want to show you guys taking it off. So there's the board there, and basically you can come in here and pop a lot of it up, and as long as you get air underneath some portion of your print, it'll typically pop off easy. So these will just come off easily. That had air under it. Let's see. Okay, that one did. It's still harder to get these off than my other printers. But they have tempered glass, so as soon as it cools, that comes off. So I can't get those off my hand. Off the bed off. I'm gonna try something else. I'm gonna try standing it up. That's what I hate about these beds. Every now and then you get that one that's just stuck there. There we go. So all I did is, you probably couldn't see that on camera, I wasn't really looking, but I just stood it on the table and basically just strong-armed it down. I want to, if you get a good bed, a 3D printing bed, a good bed is something that you use minimal force and a scraper. That's all you should have to do. In today's age of 3D printing, there's so much technology out there now. This is as much force as you should have to use on a bed. You shouldn't have to strong arm. Maybe make it a little bit more flexible to flex in certain areas. But then again, you don't want to flex it too much or else you'll cause bends in the bed. Alright. So see, and then when you get done, and I'm sure you could clean that with isopropyl alcohol or something and get that cleaned off, but that's still bits and pieces of plastic that have been, the auto leveler has gotten the hot end too close and it just buried this ink into the bed, and it's just, you can't really get it off anymore. And I just kind of spent some time scraping back and forth, trying to get a little bit at a time. I'm sure there's a trick to it. I just don't have these types of beds long enough to actually have to deal with that, because I get tempered glass right away. And another problem with doing it that way is then you get all these little tiny bits and pieces of plastic all over the place that you got to clean up. So that kind of sucks. This isn't a Debbie Downer on the machine, believe me, because I actually like this machine. I'm going to show you the benchmark prints that it comes preloaded with. These are the preloaded benchmark prints here that it printed, and I think there's one more that's preloaded onto it. And these take a long time to print. On my own settings, on my other machines, this would probably normally take about 4 hours. This would take probably a little less than 3. You know, this would probably take about 4 hours, and this would probably take somewhere around 4 to 5 hours, because of it doesn't really have that much to it. But this took about 10 on this, preloaded presettings on that. This took about 12. This took, I think, around 7.5 to 8 hours. And This took about 10 to 12 hours. I can't remember the exact amount of time it took to do them. So a lot of time to print these, but it prints fairly good. I mean, and for the amount of time it should print fairly decently. So this right here is on a red Sunlu PLA, and all of its joints move like it's supposed to. It's a really fun little octopus. I haven't really printed anything that has movement and stuff to it that's all printed together yet, because I haven't really had any reason to, but I really dig it. That was the second one that I printed like that. The third benchmark print that this thing printed. The one in the video that you guys saw printing was this one here. The first benchmark print that I had it print. Another one that prints exactly like this with no supports or anything, that when you take it off it has quite a bit of movement. Again, really good print, and it should be a really good print because it took a long time to print it. So I could probably get at least this good a quality, if not better quality, on a shorter amount of time on the Creality Ender 3 or the Anycubic i3 Mega. And probably with this thing too if I played around with the settings, but these are the benchmarks that it came with, and it was their settings, so I had nothing to do with that. Probably just trying to guarantee that they can get a really good print out of it. So I thought about reprinting this one with my own settings with this, just to see how it did. But I think what I'm going to do is let Lori do that, the owner of the Tronxy, so when she gets it back, I would encourage her to print one of these benchmarks and just send me pictures of it with your own settings. Not that, print the actual benchmark that's in it, you know, just to kind of see how it prints for yourself, but then download the Tronxy slicer and put your own settings in and reprint this, and let me see what the pictures look like. See if you can get a little faster or something. And if you can, put that in the comments, or if somebody else has done it, put that in the comments. Let me know what your settings are for the Tronxy. So, but it's not a bad print. Looks pretty good. I specifically like this one. I have no idea why. I got this one all printed off, and I absolutely love this. There's just something about this tiki that I love, and it looks really good. Printed it really good. Again, its settings. I'm in the middle of printing these masks, these COVID masks, and if I wasn't trying to fill orders right now, and if I wasn't borrowing this specifically to fill orders, then I would actually take the time to print some other things with my own settings, playing around with the settings to really give you an honest to God good review of how this thing prints. But all I'm able to show you is, well, I can show you this. Let me show you this real quick. Well, let's get done with the benchmarks, and then I'll show you a comparison of the masks between the Creality, the exact same mask between the Creality, the Tronxy, and the Anycubic. So let's get this last one real quick. Let's just kind of show you this all around. It looks really good. I love this thing. I just do. It doesn't even do anything. It's just a tiki. But, and then you've got this. Now this white right here is the white that it comes with. It comes with a half roll of white PLA, and this is the white that it comes with. It's a beautiful white. In fact, I may go look and see on Tronxy's website if they have some more white PLA, because that's a really good looking white. I've got some astronaut suit white PLA that's just a little bit better than this, that I like a little bit more than this, but this is probably my second favorite white that I've ever had. It's a beautiful white. Alright, let's show you guys some actual comparisons real quick. Now remember that these are set as fast as I can get them. So with these masks, we don't want to be spending forever printing them. We want to get them decent. I'm not trying to get the best prints I possibly can out of them. I'm trying to get what works, and I'm trying to get them all around the same speed and all of them around the same settings, and print a decent enough mask that works. So I'm going to show you. This is the Tronxy here. Let's just put it all together so I can show you the entire thing. It'll probably be a little bit better for you guys. So let me. Alright, so you can see this is the Tronxy. I'll kind of keep this up the whole time. I've got some low light so I can get some glare on these. It's better to show these pieces when you can have a little bit of glare and shadow so you can kind of see definition. So there's that one, and I'm going to keep that one up as I show you this one. So not much difference at all. There's a few little spots here, like in this you can see the Anycubic struggled with this right here. Now these are all on the same speed settings and such. The Anycubic didn't do the greatest on this. And I'll show you the other ones too. So this is a new mask that I just started printing. That's the Anycubic. Then up close you can see the Tronxy doesn't have that. But it does have a few little nicks and dings here and there. And then here is the Creality, which I think ultimately did the best around here, around the outside. But really bad on the inside. Let me also show you this though. This is the other mask, and this is really good settings. This I actually upgraded the settings and did the settings closer to what I usually do. This is the Tronxy here. You can see where the bed was, that was face down on the bed, and it doesn't look that good. The shine and luster's away from it, but it's a very good looking Sunlu red PLA there. And it did a fantastic job all the way around. These are my regular settings that I would use for the Anycubic or the Creality. So here's the Creality on those same settings. So about the same on the inside. Did a little bit of a worse job around the sides. And then we had a little bit of ghosting marks right there. That has to do with some settings that I have for the machine that I need to fix. And the rest of it looks pretty good. Mainly just ghosting problems on this. But let me tell you, the most important part of this was this on the Creality Ender 3 took exactly 4 hours to print. This on the Anycubic i3 Mega took 4 hours and 10 minutes to print. Those are really fast settings. Same quick fast settings, and this is a small. So this is a medium, this is a large. So the 10 minutes extra, these are basically printing at the same speed. I printed 2 smalls, so it should have been less than 8 hours. And on either my other ones would have been less than 8 hours. And even on the Tronxy slicer, it said it was only going to take 8 hours. This took 12 hours to print, 2 smalls. So it took a lot longer to print. It came out better looking, but it just takes longer to print. And the timing on the Tronxy, I hate to say it, but it's off. There's no way to know how long it's going to take, number one, by even looking at the side, by looking at the interface, or by even your slicer. You're just not going to know how long it's going to take. This is one of those printers that you're just going to have to get a feel for it, know what you're printing and know what your settings are, and really just kind of figure it out on your own, kind of just have a feel for how long it's going to take you to print things. I want to show you another couple important things, and then we're going to end this video. So I just wanted to show you guys the actual prints of this, since I didn't show you them in the first impressions review video. I didn't show you any of the prints, mainly because I had only had this one and this one done, and I thought it was going back a little bit later, and I was trying to hurry up and get some masks done. But since I got it for some extra time, I was able to do that one and still do several masks. and play around with it a little bit more. I talked about how cool I thought the interface was, and so I'm just going to kind of go through here a little bit more in depth and kind of show you a few things that should be noted when it comes to this machine. So I mentioned in my first review that you have to preheat this before you, and wait till it's preheated before you push play on printing, because it will print before it's done preheating. Unlike my other two machines, this one will start while it's still cold. Another thing too is if you're auto leveling the bed, most printers, in fact all printers that I've ever even heard of before this, you want to level your bed while it's hot. Being that when you use the paper system and you manually level it, you might have some plastic sticking out of the bottom of it, and if that plastic is hard, it's going to throw it off, you know, so you want it to be hot when you're leveling the bed. This one, as soon as you hit auto level, it shuts the heat and everything down, so make sure that you auto level it before preheating, because then you're just going to have to go back and redo it anyways. Another thing too, your print basically, it's kind of auto leveling while it goes around the first layer. And the first couple layers, you can see the red light on, so you know that the auto level is working. But it goes based off the last time that it auto leveled, I realized. I auto leveled it once, and then I printed, and then then I immediately went back and printed the next one, and that was after taking the bed off and getting the print off and then putting the bed back on. So obviously the bed's going to be off in some places. And so I went to reprint it, and it buried the plastic into a completely different area. I stopped the print, I went back and auto leveled it, and I realized that it was way off. So once I re-auto leveled it, then when it started to print back, it started to print back a whole lot better. So before you print, the first thing that you should do, you set this up, you got it, you need to go into Tools, go up here to Level, and then it's Auto. As soon as you push that, you've got, it shows all these zeros here. These are each point that it's going to touch on your bed, all 16 points. And then it's going to put the distance away from the bed. So we're going to watch this for just a second. And it's going to go touch down on each point. You can see the red light come on as soon as it touches that point. So that's going to establish 0. That first one is always 0. That's going to tell you where everything needs to be leveled to. So everything's leveled to that one point. So before this gets finished, I'm just going to say you've got to be watching this, and if anything is above 0.8, then you have to manually level it, but if it's not, then you can go ahead and print on it, and it's gonna print fairly good. You can get in here and really manually level it by that 0 point and try to get everything to 0, but you're not, it's just impossible. You're not going to be able to get the entire bed, all the numbers to read 0. You're just not going to be able to, because I'm going to show you the numbers now, and you can see in the numbers, you can actually see in the numbers where there's like waves in the bed, and you'll never be able to get all that to 0. So, but nothing's over 0.8, so 0.3, it's not, it's 0.80 basically. 0.8 is 0.880, so it's 0.7. These have 2 numbers after the 0, just to make sure everybody knows. So I don't want you to think it should be 0.8. Well, this one's 0.30, so that's obviously higher than 0.8. No, it's not. It's the 3. So it's 0.80. So you're good. We're good on that. So now you'll back out, and I'll let you see all the stuff here. I'm not going to dive into any of this stuff. Okay, I thought the one thing that I will show you guys is the filament. I thought that this would be filament in and out, but it's not. It shows the temperature. So I wish this had an auto plastic in and out, but I haven't found it yet. That's not what that is. So go to manual here, and you can move the hot end around anywhere you want to go. You got your stop, your fan, and I've been reading a little bit about the Z offset, but we're not going to get into that. I'm going to show you this preheat. You go to preheat, and it's gonna, once you push this up button, it's gonna go to the last one that it was set to. Well, a little bit above the last one you were set to. For some reason, it's a little bit above. So my last hot end was set at 220. So yeah, see, it starts out at 223. For some reason, it just goes above, and it's really hard to get it perfect. See, that's only the second time I've gotten it spot on. But you can see how much it jumps around. 217, you just hit it once. 223, 226. See, it's going up by 3. That's the first time I've seen it go up by exact numbers and down by exact numbers, 3. So this one, it was at 60, now I'm at 61, now 58. See, I can't get to 60. So I'm going to try to go down to 50, or as close to 50 as I can. See, you can't get exact. And then the problem is, when you actually print, it fluctuates the entire print. So your hot end will be anywhere within 5 degrees above or 5 degrees below that set number. And your bed will be anywhere 5 degrees above or 5 degrees below that set number. I don't know why. It's weird. It just constantly fluctuates. Alright, so then I just go to systems and I click info and I just watch this, because you can't go, if you go back here to print, and let's see, let's pick the one that we haven't done yet, the rook. You see that? It just shows you your rook, and then it shows play, trash, and back. So your other ones, you can kind of wait until, and it says on the main screen, you can wait until it goes up. This one doesn't go back to any main screen or anything like that. This stays on this screen until you change it. I just go into info and just wait, and it gets up pretty quick. Look, it's already at 212.53, so we're about good to go. Here's your about. You can change the thing back to English, go back to default settings, and the TPA adjust I haven't messed with yet, so I don't know about that. But I love this screen. This touchscreen is awesome. It's colorful. I really love this screen. I love everything about it. And I wish the information was right, because if the information was right during the print, then this would have the best, completely the best interface that any 3D printer has. So we're going to go in here and just push play. And so you can see here all the information that you have. This is why I didn't do it the first time, because this thing has trouble focusing in on it. And my bed and my hot end right there, they're already fluctuating. 207 to 209, 211, 212, 211, going back down. Let's say you wanted to change something in it, you just go over here to the tools. Look how cool. Yeah, I mean, it's just so easy to understand. So, okay, that's basically all you need to know. One more thing before I get off of here. I mentioned this in the other video, but I wanted to show you guys on here 2 different things that I really absolutely love about this machine. Now the Anycubic has not only has a Z screw, but it also has another pole that this big bracket just follows along up on both sides. And the Z screw, kind of like the Creality, goes up to nothing, but since both drives are going and both drives are following a pole that goes up perfectly, the Gantry has perfect stability. Now the Creality Ender 3 doesn't, because when the Gantry's going up, the Z screw bends outwards, and you have to print a modification for that so it doesn't bend outwards too much. So it kind of takes the accuracy down a little bit. The cool thing about this is it has this brace up at the top that the Z screw goes into. So this keeps it stable. It keeps it completely stable. That Z drive is never going to go out or bend sideways or anything like that. That thing is going to stay there. And this Gantry is tight. You cannot move this up and down at all. That thing is hair tight, perfect. It moves up and down pretty good with the ease of the motor, but you can't really do it with your hands all that good because that thing is tight. That thing is exactly, perfectly measured how it should be. With the gantry as tight as it is and with the brace on the Z drive, you don't need a dual drive on this at all. You just don't. I'm sure that you could put one on there, but I think you'd be wasting your money and time. Because with that, and that's to me that's fantastic and that's ingenious, because one company said we're putting dual drive in ours so we can have better stability and connect both the drives to the gantry so we have an even on both sides. Another company said, you know what, we're not going to do that. We're just going to do one Z drive and put the gantry across, and we're just going to go with it because it's a cheap, easy way to do this. And this company said, you know what, why spend that extra money on an extra brushless motor and an extra Z screw and putting all the extra stuff in it? Let's just put a brace there, fix Creality's problem, and tighten up the gantry, and that fixes the problem itself. So I like this machine. I know that I spend a lot of time telling you what's wrong with it, but I'm not really telling you what's wrong with it. I'm just trying to tell you guys what to look out for when you're using the machine. And that's, you know, I really don't like the bed, but the rest of it, you know, with the sensor, and I was told in the comments that you can't get a glass bed. See, I've done some research and I've been told that you can get a glass bed, and I've been told that you can't get a glass bed. So I don't know 100%. I don't see why you wouldn't be able to. I don't know how it all works. But on the Creality Ender 3, you can put one of these exact sensors on it with a tempered glass bed, and I've seen people put the exact same sensor on it with a tempered glass bed, and it works perfectly. So I don't know how true that statement is. Very last thing, I said something about this too. That is the connector for this ribbon wiring, and I love it. It's the same connector on the inside. All you have to do is, there's this little switch here, and there's one on the bottom too. You just flip it up, and this thing comes right out. Then you put it back in, flip it down, it locks it in place. I love it. Just an easy, quick design. I absolutely love that. I think more 3D printers need to get that. And then the gantry wiring only goes to this little box down here. You can see the green from the board. It only goes to that box, and then everything else runs out from here. So, ingenious. The ideas behind this are solid. I'm telling you. The ideas behind this machine, they're 100%. They are solid. Now, if they could get it all to work, if they could get everything in the interface to work perfectly, and a better bed, then this is just an ingenious machine. It would be perfect. I'm telling you, Tronxy, that's all you got to do. Get those two things done, and this would be just the perfect machine. I would say if those two things were correct, because the interface is a huge part of it. When everything's so messed up like that, that's a huge letdown. They got that fixed, man. You could even keep this bed on there, and it would still be so much better. I still think, as is right now, this is a better machine than the Creality Ender 3. And if you're looking for a budget printer, you're looking to get into the hobby and you don't have a lot of money to spend, you just want to get you a 3D printer and start printing, I still think, as is right now, this is the best beginner budget printer on the market. Now, if you did those two little things, I don't think that would be arguable. I don't think anybody could argue with that. And you could even raise the price to $250. And I don't think anybody ever would argue with that price. And nobody would argue with that statement of fact that it's better than, it would be the best budget beginner printer, because it's easy to assemble. The interface, it would be so amazing and accurate. Get a tempered glass bed on there, so whenever it cools down, it just pops right off. If you have to get a better sensor, get a better sensor. And then with the brace on the Z motor, tight gantry, the way that this is built, it's got a real sturdy frame. Just the wiring, so any type of repairs, like if 3D printers break down, all 3D printers break down, you're going to have to repair every 3D printer you own. With wires like that just pop on so easy and lock in place with that ingenious setup, and if you make those wiring and stuff available as well, then any beginner could get this, start printing, immediately know what's going on with their printer, be able to see it on the interface, wouldn't have to deal with any of the leveling, could put it together super quick, and then if anything breaks down, all they would have to do is order that piece and put it back together. It would be the best printer on the market if you could do that. Now, that being said, I haven't printed a whole lot with my own settings on it and tried to push this thing to printing as good as I've gotten my Anycubic to print and as good as my Creality Ender 3 to print. So, I'm completely honest with you guys. I'm always completely honest with you guys. I don't want to oversell something that isn't worth overselling. So I will say that since I haven't actually pushed my own settings and I haven't really pushed it to its limits on how it can print, how fast it can print, how well it can print, that's the only thing that's the only blind spot right now, because it could have all this awesome stuff and then maybe it's just a terrible printer. Maybe the only way you're going to get these good prints like these are if you take forever to print them. People want to print faster. It takes long enough to print 3D printed stuff. People want to print faster. So if you can print faster, this good, but quicker, half the time, then yes, this would blow everything out of the water. But I don't know that. So somebody can get in the comments, and if you do know that, you got good settings, put the settings in there. If somebody else has a Tronxy, take those settings, double them on yours and try them out, see how it is. You know, Lori, when you get this back, play with your settings. When you find what you think is the perfect settings for quicker prints, put them on there, let other people try it out. And let's see what this thing can do, because I'm not going to have this long enough to really push its limits. So anyways, my name's Rising Michael Icy. Make sure that you hit that thumbs up button so this gets shared around in the algorithm and other people get to see this video. Hit that subscribe button down below. I appreciate every single subscriber. Every 500 subscribers, we do a giveaway. We just did a giveaway where Jaden Williams won, and he's going to get the Mandalorian helmet. Done. It's going to be awesome. Hit that bell notification so you're notified when I put out new videos, so when we do a giveaway video, you guys know that the giveaway video is going on. I had a few of you guys get a hold of me after the giveaway and be like, oh, I didn't even know that was going on. Click that bell notification so you know. You gotta know. Gotta know when new videos come out. You don't have to watch the videos, you just gotta know when they're coming out. I'd love every single one of my subscribers to be a part of the giveaway. But I think a lot of my real big, heavy watchers really love it that not everybody gets in on it, because it gives them a better chance of winning. I bet Jaden thinks that. So I'm just kidding. We'll see you guys later. Y'all have a good one. Bye.